Hi guys, Jeff Gordon here with Ricotta Cicada reporting of Chicago City. And now here I find myself with a union of women. Now Women's Union, what do you have to say?
We are the Women's Temperance Union.
Not only that, we're the Women's Christian Temperance Union.
What are you all about?
We were originally founded in the 1870s, and then now that it's like the 1900s, we moved away from like our old views about like feminism and that kind of stuff to prohibition and the prohibition.
Basically,
of alcohol.
here's the deal: we were just living in the rural areas, minding our own business, and our husbands, they're wasting all of their money on alcohol. They're getting drunk. They're not bringing in any money. Any money they bring in, gone on alcohol. So we're all like, we need to get alcohol out of here. So we team up with our churches, and we go around and we're campaigning. We're campaigning Congress people, and we're like, guys, let's get an amendment in the Constitution. Let's get alcohol banned.
Jogu signing off. Is this thing on? Jeff Jefferson here with Chicago reporting of Chicago. Here I'm out on a Chicago street interviewing people of Chicago and seeing what they're doing. What are you doing, sir?
Reading a newspaper.
What's that? What's the newspaper about?
Well, it's a little political cartoon about liquor.
What would you say the purpose of that political cartoon is?
The purpose of this political cartoon, well, it's to get average everyday folks just like me to try and, maybe get my congressmen to get some acts passed in Congress to decrease the control that liquor has on the world.
Yeah, so would you say like the point of view would be like that liquor is overall a negative thing in American society because like it's got the octopus that's kind of constricting the globe with like debauchery and poverty and crime and all kinds of stuff like that?
I would absolutely say that.
Yeah, so do you think that things like the Anti-Saloon League are a force for good in their crusade for a prohibited society in terms of alcohol?
Yeah, I think I would.
All right, Jeff Jugard blog signing off with Chicago.
What's up, guys? Wayne Wheeler here with the Anti-Saloon League. I'm just here writing some stuff. Basically, with the Anti-Saloon League, we were so influential that we supported a national amendment, which eventually led to the 18th Amendment, which, as we all know, banned alcohol. So now I'm writing the Volstead Act to enforce that amendment. And here you go, Mr. Volstead.
Thanks, Wayne. I really appreciate your work, and I will work to get this through the Congress and onto the President's desk. Thank you.
We need to talk about temperance and alcohol and whether we should do a prohibition. So let's do a pros and cons here. Congressman Alex, what are our pros?
Well, the pro is, we have a war effort going on right now, and it would be kind of dumb of us if we used all the grains used in making alcohol to make alcohol instead of feeding our troops abroad and our people at home, because there is food shortages and we need
Very
food.
true. And we don't want a drunk workforce.
Yeah.
No drunk workforce. Now, what are the cons to prohibition? I sure can't think of many.
Yeah, me
No.
either. Congressman Volstead, do you have any acts you'd like to pass?
Yeah, probably the Volstead Act, enable the 18th Amendment.
All who vote yes for it, raise your hand. It's passed. Mr. President, Congress, they just passed the Volstead Act. It says, no person shall on or after the date when the 18th Amendment goes into effect manufacture, sell, barter, transport, import, export, deliver, furnish, or possess intoxicating liquors except for authorized by this act.
What is the 18th Amendment? Get my Constitution. Alright, it says here, after 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within the importation thereof to, or the exportation thereof from the United States and all territories subject to the jurisdiction thereof for beverage purposes is hereby prohibited. Well, I bet they passed this act because the language of this amendment seems pretty confusing.
I'm
and
confused.
It doesn't really define what intoxicating liquors actually mean. So I bet this Volstead Act really defines it and provides for the enforcement of this 18th Amendment. However, I'm not a big fan of it, so let me get into my paper cabinet. I, President Herbert Hoover Woodrow Wilson, hereby vetoed Alright, take this to Congress.
Congress, he vetoed it. What do you want to do? You want to override that? Okay. Yeah, they did override that.
They overrided that?
Yeah, override.
Well, looks like that's going to be a law now. George Georgeful here with reporting. Here I see a Chicago politician giving an impassioned speech about prohibition.
You see, folks, I'm a Republican, and I believe, as do all my other Republican brethren, that prohibition is a noble experiment, and we must get rid of alcohol. No good Democrats, with their New York City values, they're debating the topic. Southern Democrats are for prohibition, city Democrats are against it. See me, I'm a rural boy. I grew up in Mississippi, where all of us believe that prohibition is bad. And as we moved to the cities, we brought those values with us. And okay, maybe the bulk of the nation doesn't support prohibition. We're about to pass this amendment, but who cares? We're still going to do it anyway, because our constituents want us to. And I want to be elected, so...
Good job, local congressman.
That was incredible. Wow.
Suckers.
Let's see where he's going. He's going down into a speakeasy. Hi, John Jacobson here with Chicago Reporting Peoples. And here I'm going into a speakeasy to talk to people about prohibition and what they think about it. Mr. Politician, I just saw you giving an impassioned speech about prohibition. What are you doing drinking alcohol right now?
Dude, all of us drink alcohol. We're just trying to get elected. None of us actually believe in prohibition.
Wait a minute, so you mean to say that even though you publicly support prohibition, you still drink alcohol in private?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here I think we got the Chicago police chief. Let's see what he has to say about the rise of organized crime and crime syndicates as a result of prohibition. Mr. Chicago police chief, what do you have to say about the rise of organized crime and crime syndicates as a result of prohibition and the allegations that you're accepting bribes from speakeasies to look the other way?
I'm not accepting any bribes.
You're drinking alcohol right now.
I'm not accepting any bribes.
Bribes?
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, maybe. I might be accepting bribes. But with the rise of gang violence over a controlled bootlegging industry, it's easier for the police department to turn a blind eye.
How many police in your department do you think are involved in this prohibition at the Chicago Police Department of Chicago?
Only like 60%.
You heard it here
Only.
first, folks. Hey fellas.
Yeah.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt back with Chicago People Reporting's Peoples. And here I'm at another speakeasy, and the Chicago police chief is still here with his special brew, the Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, rubbing alcohol included. And I'm gonna see what they have to say about that. Alright, what's going on, fellas?
I gotta have my secret sauce in here, rubbing alcohol. Yeah, they know. Look at that beauty. Yeah. Hold on. Hop in here, Reed. Got that rubbing alcohol in there. Got that Sweet Baby Ray's. It is 100% delicious. Also, the thing is, not only are people drinking Lay's drinks with poisonous rubbing alcohol, they're also the drinkers are also younger. So yeah,
Wait. You're killing people?
yeah.
Wait, you mean to say that the addition of rubbing alcohol and bad alcohols such as moonshine that were homemade and not very safe at all is resulting in people dying?
Yes.
What do you have to say about that, Mr. Police Chief?
I don't like dead people, but oh look, she's dead.
So in February 1933, the Blaine Act was passed, initiating the repeal of Prohibition, and like began initiated the 21st Amendment. Later, like a month later, there was the Colin Harrison Act where it changed how much like alcohol you could have in like certain beverages, so like beer and wine. Went to like 0.5% to 3.2%, and then later on, the 21st Amendment was like adapted, and then it repealed the 18th Amendment. So that was like the end of Prohibition.